Hello everyone. Welcome or welcome back to my very small YouTube channel about knitting. My name is Isabelle. I am in France. I have 3 sons and I have 3 cats. Some have said it's related. And I'm filming these videos in English because I miss my English very, very much. I used to live in the United States and that was over 32 years ago. So you are my opportunity to be practicing my talking in English about once a week when I record such videos. So today it's going to be quite a special video about my yarn no by year and preparing my next video because this is video number 99, so my next video is going to be number 100, and so I'm going to share with you what I'm planning to do for the next video and what is going to be your own contribution. So if my English doesn't bother you too much, if my mistakes and hesitations do not repel you too much, and if that sounds good to you, please stay tuned. Okay, first, what am I wearing? I am wearing my summer sorrel sweater that I knit, I think it was in June 2021. Yes, June 2021. And so the summer sorrel is patterned by Woolen Pine. I love these ridges very, very, very much. It's elongated stitches that you can, you go several rows below to knit a very long stitch. And I've knit both the winter version and the summer version of the sorrel, and I'm kind of itching of knitting another one. But anyway, most probably a summer version, but not sure I'm going to be doing this. I knit that sweater with a yarn, it's sock yarn from Ars Natura Creation. And this colorway just caught my eye. I'm not even sure why I was on Etsy. Her store is on Etsy, or used to be on Etsy. I'll have to check again. And I bought 3 skeins that I knit in the fade for the summer sorrel. It's a light sweater. It's merino and acrylic, I think, as it's a sock yarn. So it's a light sweater that is quite suited for the weather right now, where it is quite warm in the afternoon, but not too much in the mornings. So yes, a perfect sweater, perfect color. I love blue, you all know that. So yes, my summer sorrel. Okay, so first, what am I planning to do for the episode number 100? So I started to record these videos almost 2 years ago during the summertime, and I was in the Pyrenees, if I recall correctly. I'll have to watch again, but I think that's where I started, and I was on vacation. So it's episode 100. Boy, have I evolved over these almost 2 years of filming these videos, and I have evolved a lot, also thanks to you. You have helped me go through my thoughts, my process thoughts, and make or change some of my point of view and some of my decisions, and helped me kind of get more clearly what I want, place words of on what I would like to be doing. And one of the expression of that, the most visible part of that, is my yarn no by year. Filming these videos had me realize that at some point I was overspending on yarn, and so please be sure I never was in a financial difficult situation. I never overspent from my food of my normal living expenses, but I did overbuy. And I had a lot of questions about that. Why do I overbuy? Why do I overeat? What do I which void am I trying to fill? And this project has also morphed over the last 2 years, year and a half that I've been doing this, has evolved in 1 year and a half, into a project where I also prefer to be knitting with local yarn, untreated yarn from companies that respect the environment and guidelines and people and do not exploit people and etc. So that's one of the nice consequences. The other nice consequence of that, as this January, I added another point with about online patterns that last year I was good about buying yarn only in store, in persons, and no online buying. But I kind of went overboard with digital patterns. So from January, I have another set of regulations for myself and for online patterns where I place them in a special bundle and I review them every month or so, and either I keep them or I reject them, and I review the ones that I've been added for the last months. I think that one of my videos about that process attracted a lot of people. I'm not sure if YouTube picked it up or something. I'm not sure what happened. But a lot of people came who were not from the beginning. So what I was thinking for episode 100 for next week is doing a question and answer that you could ask about anything. Of course, if you remain civil and things like that and respectful, but I never had to deal with people who were not here. And some of you already have asked some questions last week on the video from last week, because I had asked you, would that be of some of your interest, because I'm not going to be filming something that I have only 2 questions. So several of you said, okay, that would be interesting, and here are my questions. So I'm formally, I took note of the questions from last week's video, and I'm formally asking you now, if you have any question to ask me, please post it down below under this video, and I will answer next time. And for episode 100, I'll do a question and answer from your questions. So yes, please do that. And now we are going to be moving into the more normal part of the Yarn No by Year video for today. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is that I will link down below my first video about my first regulations about my Yarn No by Year. The one from this January or February, I'm not sure, I recall exactly when I posted it, about the regulation I set for myself for this year. And so that, and also I also have blog posts where I try to write my show notes. This end of school year has been quite hectic, and I had no much time to write blog posts. So I'm trying to catch up and write them up. But I will leave links down below also about the written posts where I explain what my project and what I've been doing it and why I've been doing it. Anyway, so if we consider only yarn for today, I do not buy yarn unless I am in person somewhere. No more online buying, because one of my problems, or maybe it was not a problem, but something that after a while I was feeling very uncomfortable with, was add to cart, buy, add to cart, buy. And this is a virtual process. There is no exchange of money. with someone, and it's so easy to add to cart and buy. Of course, I understand some people can't do that because they don't have the money and they have their own way to do with the lack of money or missing out, and it's more important to be eating than buying yarn. I do clearly understand that. But I was not in that situation, and add to cart and buy was some kind of a snowball. I got caught in that game with YouTube and other people making videos and living in yarn stores and making Instagram reels and videos and posts about what they were knitting, the yarn they had bought and everything. And I got caught and let myself got caught into that spinning wheel. That I am kind of sensitive to, and I'm kind of doing this with other parts of my life. So food. So I started to buy and buy and buy and buy. And at one point, I went to the moment where all the space in my room, in my bedroom, was full with yarn. I had empty spaces. And it got full with yarn in a few months. And that had me question myself, why was I buying more yarn that I could knit with? And in retrospect, after a year and a half of that project, there is all of my Holst soft Holzgans super soft yarn that I bought I have projects in mind. I have the pattern. I know what I want to be doing with it. I haven't touched it in a year and a half because some other things have come my way. New patterns, I bought yarn myself. Some people have very generously sent me yarn. At the end of last year, one of you who are in Switzerland and Rosemary who is in Australia. It was my 60th birthday and you sent me yarn and I made beautiful projects out of that, and I'm still knitting some of the yarn that Rosemary sent me, but I can't knit with that, the mohair with that. There is too much fuzziness, and from last night the nurse said no more bandage, but the finger is not nice looking, so I placed my own bandage for the recording so that you don't have to be confronted what the reality of the tip of my finger is. But yes, I haven't knit any of the Holst super soft haul I made at the end of 2021. Yarn has come my way. My sons bought me yarn. 2 of you sent me yarn very nicely, quite unexpectedly, and I thank you so very much for that. So it has been also eye-opening for me to be realizing that if I don't buy the yarn right now, or if I don't buy the pattern right now, something else is going to be coming my way. Maybe that yarn is going to be out of order. Maybe that's one of a kind. Maybe. But as one of you has seen, because you were quite interested into my deep purple yarn I'm using for the Kalara shawl, the lady who died was out. She had dyed maybe 2 skeins, and I got one of them. Or maybe she had dyed only one, and it was one of a kind, one of a batch, one of a kind. So you were quite sad not to be able to be getting that yarn in that color, but that stayed with you. You know who you are, and in another yarn event festival, you found the exact same color from someone else. And there is no point, I think, and it's my own process, there is no point buying yarn because you're gonna be missing out. Some of La Bien-Aimée Curry Confetti, I still feel the miss of it, but I'm sure there are other companies that do that, and I'm sure at some point, if I start buying online again because I have no more stock, no more sweater quantity, and no more stock, I will find the one I was craving for. Same for patterns. I know online patterns can disappear. I know. And if you don't get them on the spot, you may not be getting them at all after that. Okay, my mouse was on the record button and I kind of moved the mouse on the computer to see for how long I had been speaking, and I stopped the recording. Okay, so I'm back again. So what I was saying is that I know online patterns can disappear, and if you don't get them at the moment they are available, you may never get them again. Yeah, there are millions of patterns. And if you have one idea, you will always find something that will suit your idea. Either you are going to adapt another pattern to get where you want to be going, or you'll find something else very similar. And you won't have, as I do have, and I had been doing last year, a whole library and lots and lots and lots of euros into online patterns that you do not need. So this whole process I have been documenting, and one of you, Caroline from Germany, Caroline contacted me. It was at the end of, we are at the beginning of June, we are on the June 13th, and Caroline contacted me at the end of May 22nd. Out of the blue, I had not asked for anything. And she said, I'm interested into your project. I don't want to distort or change what she had been saying. And also the video about my yarn Kryptonite, because I think that speaking about things that tempt me help me not buying them, or if I do buy them at some point, it's with an intention and not to hoard and have and stock and be filled with something that will never be able to be filling the void I'm trying to fill. Because the root of that is not yarn, it's not food, it's not patterns, it's not books, it's not music, it's something else. So anyway, I have some of my yarn Kryptonites that I am very, very, very much interested into knitting and buying. And my own plan was, once I do not have any more sweater quantity in my house, I will start buying some of these yarns that tempt me a lot. And one of them really tempts me, and I can't find it in person. It's an online thing. And Caroline contacted me, and she said that also she understands the curiosity about that yarn. That yarn is Nutiden yarn. And my own videos also had her thinking about her own stash and everything. And she was saying that she had a huge stash. And out of the blue, she offered to send me some, because in her stash, she had some Nutiden yarn that she thought would be suitable for me, for my taste and everything, and what I'm used to knitting. And also that would help her distash some of this yarn. I haven't checked from which season this Nutiden was. I may do it and write it on the video or not. I may not even do that. But she had it in her stash, and she immediately thought about sending it to me. And before she does that, she contacted me and she asked if she could do that, because I haven't been asking. And she said, if you don't want, I understand. And in this own process and the exchange we had, in the way she gave some of her stash, Nutiden stash to her husband for him to be knitting. And so she was on her own process of thinking about her stash and how to destash or how to knit her stash. Anyway, she offered to send me some Nutiden yarn. Oh, that was the kryptonite coming to me. How can I resist? How can I resist? Thing is, maybe it's my own personality, my own education, whatever. It's difficult for me to receive gifts. The two of you who sent me gift last year really made me extremely happy, because we did not have gifts for our birthdays, and there is a whole story about that, why we didn't, and for Christmas and things like that. There is a whole thing, and I'm not used to receiving gifts, and receiving gifts really makes me melt down on the good way. So when she offered to send me that, some of her Nutiden stash, I said, well, yeah, okay, but I won't be able to receive it without giving you something. And maybe I will buy some yarn for next summer for you or something. And she said, no, it's not one for one, and you don't have to be doing this. And my own stash, every batch of yarn, I usually buy more than what I need, but for every batch of yarn, I have projects. I have always bought yarn with an intention, with a project in mind. Thing is, I haven't had any time to be casting them on, but every part of my stash, I have a project in mind. Maybe not the one that my mother gave me last summer, but it's not a very good quality yarn, mostly acrylics. So I've knit things for my younger people in my life, my sons and their girlfriends, and so that there is no difficulty taking care of them. They can throw them in the washing machine and that's it. But so that part of this stash she gave to me, I have no real intention. But all the one I bought, I have an intention. And it's kind of difficult for me to be parting of this extra quantity I know I will have if I need a sweater. But I'm not quite sure with such size how much I will need, if I want something close to the body that will use less yarn, or something more boxy that will use more yarn. So it's difficult for me to break into that unknit stash reserved for projects. But I had knit that Cozy X from Hinterstein with that mohair from the Pyrenees. So I marked, yeah, you'll see the front one. It's quite well. That emerald color sweater, mohair, it's a bigger mohair. I had, I'm not sure I recall, 3 or 4 full skeins, and I had one bobbin that she gave to me. She did not sell to me because it was not 100 grams, but it was the end of the same dye lot, so she gave it to me. So I will have to check 3 or 4 skeins of untouched of that emerald green mohair, and a partial one. So I said, okay, would you be interested into that mohair? And she said, yes, of course. So I gathered a bit other partial skeins I had left, and a bit of small balls of that unbrushed mohair, just for her to see what the feeling of the yarn is and how it is, and my cats are playing. So that if she likes it and everything. So she said, okay, but you don't have to do 1-for-1. And I said, no, I know, but it's difficult for me to be thinking I will receive something without sending something out. I just can't, you can't help me, I just can't. So there was kind of bit of an adventure with my own post office, because my village post office is almost never open, only in the morning for 2.5 hours. It's very difficult. So there is a pickup in my mailbox. I can buy the sticker online, and for the weight I want to ship, and I pay, I print the thing, and I put the package in my mailbox, and someone comes to pick it up. Well, first day they did not come pick it up. Second day they did not come pick it up. Third day they did not come pick it up. So the 2 last days I made a reclamation, a formal reclamation to the National Post Office Service in France. The fourth time they said to me, oh, it's going to be 60 to 90 days to get to your 2 previous reclamations or complaints. What? For a package that is going to go 5 days to go to Germany from my own location, and I could walk there, and no, it's going to be on this site for you. I could walk there and before the 90 days, and she will have my package. So, okay, so I decided that I'm going to have to go there and take on my working time. Anyway, it got shipped, and she received it. And she shipped some Nutiden for me. The first one, and so this is a plate, and there are other parts in bowls and some little pieces, and the name is Vasen. So there is 300 grams of this pale pink with some kind of speckles, very pale pink, almost white, with greener and pinker parts. It looks like mother of pearl to me. So 300 grams, I guess it's enough for sweater quantity. And I decided, and unfortunately I won't be able to make the cal, because you see even already there is some hair on my finger, and if I can't play with the tension correctly, it's going to be difficult for me to be knitting, so I will have to be waiting. My finger is completely healed, and even without the bandage, some places are still open, dry but open, so I can't knit like that. But so I will have to wait, and there is Knit Along by Unit in Toronto, Unit Toronto, so that's the store, with the Cathedral sweater. There is no H in Cathedral. And so Onyx wants to go out. And I think I will make that Cathedral sweater with the Nutiden yarn in Vasen when I can knit it. And I have to say, is there a part? Yes, I have to say that this yarn stands for what people are talking about. It is soft, it is plump, it is extremely soft, and I think I will knit it single-stranded. So I have to swatch and see. I may end up doing something else, but that's my own intention for now for Vasen. So that's the first yarn she talked about to me, and well, she placed a lot more in the package. Okay, so in the package there was also 300 grams of Parallel. Parallel is a much plummier, it's not really pink, more, it's between plum, light plum and red. It has some red accents, grape accents, with other parts that are less, with less dye. So One thing is also that this yarn, I think, has a lot of dimension. I've heard people say that, and I can understand why now people say that, because I'm sure that when you knit that color, you have the overall feeling of light grapey, plummy, pinky color, and if you look more precisely, you have other grayish, more grayish tones. So there is also 300 grams of parallel, and what I was thinking is knitting some of the kind of ponchos that Miss Evelnitz has on her blog. So she releases free recipes only with knitted yarn, and I had already she has 2 patterns now, or 2 recipes that she's released for ponchos, and I already had the first one in mind to be knitting with some of the yarn from the Pyrenees, and now she's released in the meantime a second one, and more recently, and I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to be choosing, but I think this is what I'm going to be knitting. And as a matter of fact, the other day was going to be a very bright day, but the morning was quite cold, and when I was going to work, I was thinking I would really much appreciate such a poncho that I can wear in the morning going to work and then stuff into my bag and get maybe in the evening if I'm cold again. And for it without being wrinkled and stuff, because mohair is that way. It doesn't get, you can stuff it into a bag and it's going to go out the way perfectly, a perfect way. So yes, that's what I was thinking about doing. And there is some color work with both of her patterns. So either I'm going to be doing some color work if I have some Vasen left, or maybe some color work with the other bits that that Caroline so generously sent me, or maybe just have it, a monoblock, a single colorway. I'll have to decide about that. Okay, in the package, she also placed some of her own leftovers, and she said that Miss Evelnitz, that I have been following for quite a long time now, has a sock recipe for, that would not be socks that you wear in your boots, because Nutiden is quite fragile and sensitive to wear and tear, I think. And I've seen people say that, for example, if you knit a sweater on the underarm, if you knit it single-stranded, you need to be placing double strands at that part, or if you need double strand, you add 1 strand just under the underarm where there is some friction and the yarn may wear out. So the sock in Nutiden would not be for wearing in boots, but it would be for house socks. And so I haven't weighed them out. This white, very pure white, and I think the little parts is not, that is, yes, I will get to you in a few minutes. It's not speckles. A very pure white. The name is Duvakul. I will have to check that. And I haven't weighed out. I think there is more than 100 gram, or maybe there is 100 gram of this very pure white color. There is a gray brown kind of green brown, a very earthy color. I love that color, which is raw. So parts of green, mustardy color, part of brown. Yes, so lots of dimensions too in that colorway. I really love that one. And so I'm not sure, I did not weigh out, so I'm not sure how much there is. And there is one color change in the gray, so you have darker grays and lighter grays, and is Sylvette. So, and same way, maybe there is 100 gram or a bit less than 100 gram. I don't know, I haven't looked them, I haven't weighed them out. And maybe what I could do is use color work with the parallel colorway and into one of Miss Evelyn's ponchos. I'm almost 100% decided to do that, either as a single color or with the color work in the poncho. So I will have to see how far the cathedral sweater goes, if I do decide to need that in the end. And one thing is I also will be changing the color, but if I do get to that, I will tell you why and what I plan to do. Okay, so Onyx is out. I've freed him for the moment, for the time being. Yeah, so that really overwhelmed me at first when I received her message and in all the exchanges we had, and when I received the package. So now Ramses is wanting to go out too. One thing that we discussed, and what she said, that's what she said, was that yes, she understood my point of view regarding the Nutiden marketing and economical model, and that you know, I kind of am uncomfortable with a model where you reserve some of your production for a happy few, selected happy few, and selected by money. But in the other way, Caroline had a point saying, well, if there are people to be doing this and buying the yarn, and that makes a European company thrive and develop. And I have to say that now that I've had some in my hands, it's beautiful yarn. I'm going to just interrupt because it's in a bag. She's added a piece of a shawl that she started and that she did not want to be doing after all, so that I can have a look and feel of a single-stranded knit with Nutiden. Okay, so it's the one in with Vassen, and the one that looks like mother of pearl to me. And yeah, it's extremely soft. It's very, very something that I haven't knit with. I never knit with something like that. And I do recognize the exceptional quality of that yarn. I do recognize that, and I understand that. So that's where the stitches are. The color, the feel, the fact that it's very light and very warm at the same time, and it's also a traditional type of yarn from Icelandic countries, Iceland, I guess. So yeah, I do understand that, and if there is enough hype around it for people to talk about it and buy it, and that they do have to have reservations for their batches because they put it online and 3 minutes after that everything is gone, even though more recently Caroline said that after the first patron could get the yarn they wanted, there was still some of left for other people. So I do understand that. And one also what I added to the conversation is that other yarn companies who are doing some unspun yarn, selling some unspun yarn, have had a lot of attention to, and maybe they started to be doing better. And at least 2 yarn stores I follow, making stories, and La Bien-Aimée, at least 2 of them, and maybe some others I haven't seen, started to sell Manchelopis, which is from Spain. And of course, the Istex company has been producing for unspun yarn for a long time, even though people say it's a bit more rustic than Nutiden. And all the Lopis type of yarn that you can buy online. And these companies also have received a lot of attention and have been a good side effect of the Nutiden hype and marketing process. So I do understand that. And in the end, you do you make your own choices, the ones that you can sustain, and you do you, and you do what you want. And I am so grateful that Caroline, I'm not sure how you say in German, Caroline reached out, and I am very happy I sent what I had left from my own sweater. I had plans, maybe I did have plans to knit a vest or something like that, but I was so very happy to send this out to her, and I hope she said she had not been knitting with mohair since she was a teenager or something. So yeah, maybe she was very happy too. So yeah, that's one of the very good consequence of my Yarn by Year project. Okay, so what am I learning today from that is that, as I knew already, yarn comes my way in the most unexpected ways, and that is the very good side of the internet. It would not be for that project, that online project I have, I would have never met any of you. And I would have never had these exchanges with any of you. And you have brought more to me than I have been given. And that's also the living proof of when you give out, you receive. And if you're not certain of that, you can be sure this is the way it happens. And I've been doing this in my own work for a long time now. I know that giving out is better than always waiting for receiving, and a lot of my colleagues are more in that receiving type of process, and I know it's not the way that you can be happy. And I understand that it's a very lifelong process, and you have been helping me out. You have been helping me thinking about all of that, kind of evolving and morphing my own projects into places I feel more happy about, more at ease, more at peace. And in the most unexpected ways, happiness happens because, you know, when I opened the package, it was happiness in a package. And the same way when I did receive packages before. It's just pure happiness in a package. And that, there is no value to that. There is no price. There is a lot of value, but there is no price to that. And yes, it would not happen to me without you. So yes, please comment down below for next week's question and answer episode. And I thank you a lot for being here with me, for changing my life. The words are not too strong. And I do hope that every little stitch that you are knitting is giving you much joy and happiness, and placing joy and happiness into your life, because it's not going to be happening all by itself. We do actively have to work on that. And we can work on that all together. And you contribute to my own joy and happiness in the most unexpected ways and in the most friendly ways. And I'm sending you all my very few little stitches I'm able to be knitting for now. And all of the joy and happiness that you can get, I'm sending that all over the world. And yes, I will see you for my next episode, which is going to be episode 100. And who could have told that? When I first recorded, I was completely unaware of the fact that I would film 100 episodes. Were you? I wasn't. So yes, joy, happiness to you, many little stitches, and I will see you next time.